nails. You can't do like say they sleep. Now like this, they sleep. Come on, that hair. Remove that hair.
It's installed. It's installed now.
No, this hair where you wear
is installed. Tomorrow is Easter now. Who wants to wake up and be doing hair and doing everything? Tomorrow is Easter now.
Okay. Anyway,
and when you get to them, you just stay ready. How now?
I'm good though. I say if you date celeb.
That difference, I don't think it's a celeb matter. I think it's an individual matter. And yes, I mean, when I was a lot younger, I didn't think I would date one, but I'm married to one.
Who are you?
So it's why I'm saying MC Amana.
Hey.
Been married almost 12 years now. So I think it's a personal matter. I don't think it's just equated to celebs alone. So you've talked a lot about what celebrities are known for, their fake lives, wearing fake designers, upgrading old cars to new cars, and like so many other things. And I don't know if you saw my comments, but the truth is that people do this too, even though they're not celebs. Do you get? A lot of Nigerians, a lot of Africans go to, have you been to Balogun? Have you seen where they are selling fake designer stuff? You know? So it's a different, I think it's a different pot of kettle for, a pot of soup for everybody. And you've talked about how you must check phone and how you must not check phone. Again, everybody did different. People should do what works for them. If it's based on trust, for me, checking phones is not a criteria, but being transparent is. That doesn't mean that somebody go dey hide in phone and the other person no go dey hide phone. So yeah, I mean, if you share your body with somebody, the least you can do is be transparent with your phones. I completely understand that, but like, I'm not going to be checking every time. Like, what do I want to see there? Unless just for the heck of it. Maybe I want to check on something, but maybe just to snoop. Like, I want to see if there is a babe that he's seen besides me, and vice versa. I don't think like that's the basics for that. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but yeah.
Have you ever, at any point, seen anything strange on your aunt's phone?
Oh yes, I have.
MC, don't enter trouble. Wait till you see.
If he was, I don't know if he's awake where he is now. You can add him. It's something that we're very open about. So my husband and I have a very transparent relationship. No, I don't mean open like open relationship. I mean, no, that's not what I mean. Open. See, our relationship is very transparent. We don't have an open relationship like open marriage or open, no. But when I mean open, I mean that we're very transparent with each other. I need you to understand the difference, yeah? Yeah, I have seen something funny on his phone and we had talked about it, and that was it. And we're very open. He has the password to my phone and I have the password to his phone. His Instagram is open on my phone, so whatever messages he's getting, I'm getting. So it's not really about trust. It's just who we've always been. And this started way before we got married. That's why I said we have a very transparent relationship, but not an open relationship, if that makes any sense.
Now let me have you ever cheated on him?
Sorry? Say that again.
Have you ever cheated on him? You?
Yeah, emotionally. Yeah.
What about physically?
No.
Tell me about this emotional cheating.
So yeah, we're at some very bad place in our marriage some years back, and unconsciously I was entertaining somebody just being nice to me, and we're just chatting, and he found it and it was really painful for both of us. but we moved past it. We grew from that. And the beautiful part of that was that when he found out, he was hurt. And in the morning, I realized something is wrong, because I know how we go to bed and how we wake up. We're supposed to pray first thing, we're happy, and then this guy is moody first thing in the morning. And then I'm trying to find out what happened. Did anything happen while I was still asleep or anything like that? And he told me what he saw. And, you know, when we talked about it, for me, the biggest... Sorry?
Tell me about what was
No,
the kind of thing?
it was just basically... So this other person was always just writing poems, and I would just laugh. And it wasn't like I was entertaining, but yeah, I'll call it what it is. The fact that I was shutting it down, but I could have just blocked this person without letting it go any further, right? That's the right thing to do. But I didn't shut it down for whatever reason. And so when we were talking about it, guess what? This guy took the blame. It wasn't like, he was like, maybe if he was telling me more nicer things, I would have blocked this person a long time ago, because he knows who I am. He knows, like, I don't entertain that kind of BS. So for me to have entertained it, he was probably slacking on his job and his duty as a husband. And like, that really, really got me. That really got me. And it was something that we resolved immediately. Like, it did not linger till the next morning, you know. So yeah, that happened. We got past it. Yeah.
Let me ask you, how come you don't post him on your page? I've been looking through your page since.
I don't post him. Have you looked hard enough?
I'm looking very hard. I'm looking everywhere.
My husband on my page. Are you joking?
I've seen him.
It's not even so. Social media, some person has been working with me, because I'm trying to stay away from social media a lot, so I can do more work on your, like, how can you not see my husband?
I'm there. I've seen.
Are we on the same page? Like, this is my page, Daddy Freeze. Which one are you looking at? Are you looking at my personal page or Bedroom Matters?
I'm looking at Bedroom Matters.
See now, the first line, that's my husband there. Second line, that's him and I too there. Third line, that's him. Like, there's no line you don't find him. Are you seeing there? That's him. Yes.
I'm on your page. Sorry, I've seen it. You posted a picture. I'm going to use that, the word, but I'll ask you, what on the, you said something about intercourse. I cannot use the S word. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you.
You cannot use the S word. So why intercourse is important in marriage? Talk about that.
Okay. So intercourse is important in marriage. As much as people try to shy away from the topic, yeah. Intercourse is that one thing in the marriage that binds couples together. It is that thing that can make or break a marriage, you know, especially for like the Christian folks. It's something we don't talk about, but major issues. When men complain, they complain that they're not getting it at home. When women complain, they're complaining that, oh, he's always asking for it too much. And then we're not talking about what is that disparity, what is the difference, why is it that one person is complaining and the other person isn't complaining. You know, it's very important. And in your marriage, you can delegate a lot of things, but you see, intercourse is something you don't delegate. It's something that you never want to delegate. As much as, you know, people say, oh, it's all over the place. I'm Christian at the end of the day. It's what was it designed to do? How was it designed? Where is the safest place to have intercourse? You know, so, yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk about you and your husband. What's your intercourse life like?
Very healthy.
What's your definition of healthy? Because my definition of healthy is your own.
So that's what I was going to say. One man's definition of healthy is different from another man's definition of healthy. As long as the both of you are satisfied, as long as it works for your unique relationship. So again, I know that you know that I am a clinical sexologist, and it's a word, it's a thing, yeah? I always say to people, some people ask me, how many times a week is healthy? I mean, I'm like, it's not drug, it's not Panadol, they know they prescribe them, right? As long as the two people in relationship are happy with what they're giving and getting, you know, bedroom wise, as long as nobody is feeling shortchanged or one person is feeling starved, and as long as, so for some people will say that they're very healthy when they get it once a week and they're okay, as long as it's not a fake talk, like somebody is happy and the other person is catching cruise outside.
I get that.
Yeah.
Some people
You understand?
happy, but just so that the marriage no go spoil, they will just say they're happy, but they are
They
frustrated.
will just say they're happy. You understand? So for me, at the end of the day is what truly, like when the doors are shut, no cameras, nothing, being honest with yourself, what really works for your unique marriage. If you're saying now once a week, twice a week. And again, what people don't also get is it's not in the how many times per se, it's in the quality of what the both of you get. Does that make sense?
Now, let me explain some scenarios real quick.
Right.
Husband wants it once a week. Wife wants it every day. It's different from wife wants it once a week, husband wants it every day.
Absolutely.
Difference. A woman can decide that it's my husband, let me just open it. The man will get level of satisfaction and move on. A woman needs involvement. Most women cannot get a release if the man is not involved. The man cannot just lie there and say, yeah, do what you want to do.
True that.
It's a totally different scenario. If a woman wants it every day and she's with a man who wants it once a week, she will be frustrated. If it's but he's with a woman who wants it once a week, he might not be frustrated as long as the woman just manages and says, okay, just do what you want to do. Count me out of this. Just do your own and we'll be fine. So, also talking about healthy relationships, most people are secretive about what they want.
Most people are what? I didn't get that.
Are secretive. They're honest about what they want. They'll say, you know what? They'll just follow your lead. How many times do you like it a week? 3 times. Me too. 3 times is okay.
Me too. Yeah.
4 times a day. That's one aspect. They are not telling you the truth because they don't want you to judge them.
Yeah.
Then there is the other part where some people are frustrated. In a relationship, one wants it twice a day, one wants it once a week. If they do it twice a day, the person that wants it once a week will be frustrated. If they do it, the person that wants it twice a day will be frustrated. How do you bring a back such a scenario? Especially when, like, there's something you said earlier on that I'm going to agree with you on. When it comes to intercourse, you can't outsource it. I need to go to, the other day I needed to go to Ikeja and I didn't want to drive. I just called Lag Ride. Car was comfortable. The AC was cool. It was even affordable. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't expensive like Bolt. Bolt to bring 2003 Corolla that is doing to your house and will charge you.
Where the AC know they work.
AC will they blow you petrol, like people follow the ingredients of the AC. Do you know how many Ubers I've rejected in my life, especially Bolt? They will come to your house and you just look at the car and you just say, nah, don't worry, boss. The car was a wreckage. And then now I can tolerate it if I'm going to Lekki roundabout, or if I'm going somewhere that is short distance, I can manage. But to go to the Ikeja and be in traffic for 4 hours, God forbid. So I outsourced. I called lag ride. I was in traffic for 4 hours, went up to Ikeja. It was a good experience.
Right.
I go downstairs, there's no food for one reason or the other. I can go down to Mega Chicken or can order sweet. You understand?
Yeah.
I need my clothes washed. I just call the laundry. I can even outsource a conversation. For instance, I want to talk to someone and my partner is not available. You understand?
Yeah.
I can talk to somebody else, even of the opposite gender. But that one is the one that you cannot outsource.
Hi.
Hi. You're so pretty.
Thank you. You are beautiful too.
Thank you.
So if you are in and love for intercourse, some people want it, like I said, once a day, some even once or twice a month. I remember having a gentleman on my live the other day, and he said his wife said she wants it once in 3 months. That one, forget say I be pastor, say I dey preach word of God. I go take second wife. Straight.
She doesn't have any business being married, if I'm being honest. Like I say that to my women all the time. When I speak to singles, I've been to a church where I spoke to the singles and I said to them, let's be very honest with ourselves. If you don't like intercourse, don't get married. Because these are conversations people are not having whilst they're dating. When people are dating, we've been told that things like this are not healthy. When you mention this one, when you mention that one. No, you can have conversations around intercourse when you're dating, but you can have them in a healthy environment where you're probably not going to be enticed into doing whatever you're not supposed to do as a child of God, right? Go ahead.
You guys hear me. Remy, mute your mic, please. Okay. Somebody said is a medical condition. Now, you can get married and 6 months later, 1 year later, 2 years later, you develop a condition that shows that you cannot have intercourse regularly. It's different. But if you have a medical condition before you get married and it is going to affect your intercourse life in marriage, please don't get married or have a full disclosure with your spouse. If you are a woman, because some women will say, I was watching a video the other day. The woman said that because they forced her to do it as a child, she was forced, that it became like punishment. So when her husband was doing it was like he was punishing her. Please don't enter a relationship where they will punish you.
Let me say something. I was also forced as a child. I think that's actually what pushed me into doing what I'm doing today. I was forced as a child from age 7 till I turned 10 by different people at different years, at different points in my life. Now, and I can tell you that trauma is real. That pain is real. There's a place where, and you see, this is a full-blown conversation that we've never had the opportunity to actually plan our life. You and I, we've been saying, oh, we will, but we just never have been able to do it. The pain, the trauma, the trigger for people who have been forced to, and I know we're using that word carefully, yeah, is very real. If they're not properly dealt with, if he or she, because men also have this issue, if they are not healed, they don't go through some sort of therapy, it becomes a problem in their marriage. Let's be very honest with that. Okay. Now, but that's not to say that you cannot change it, because this is me that have gone through different phases of this same thing we're talking about. And today I can tell you that I am probably one of the naughtiest wives out there. Do you get what I mean? So that pain is valid, and I need for us to understand that, but doesn't mean that you can't change your situation. Go ahead.
Some people say the pain sometimes never heals. I agree. If it doesn't, don't marry.
I beg to differ. So, okay, can I share a bit? No, hold on now, let me share. You need to understand where I'm coming from. You need to understand where I'm coming from. So for me, one of the reasons I can speak boldly about being healed and all, and it doesn't mean that the pain is 100% gone, but I have confidence in the fact that I have a man that truly understands me, that's constantly learning how to navigate different areas of our lives. So when we were dating and we knew this was getting serious, we're going to end up getting married, I had to own up to the fact that this thing inside the bedroom, it doesn't come to me naturally. It doesn't come to me easily. And here and here and here are the reasons why. And even I thought at the time that I was healed. I thought at the time that just talking about it meant that I was okay. But it became a problem in my marriage. Do you understand? And because I have a man that is understanding, my husband was there through therapy with me for 4 years. And we got through this thing together. And for me, it's the fact that you have a man who is able. Let me tell you, a lot of women who have these issues, if they're not able to talk about it with their husbands, I don't see them enjoying intercourse with their husbands. That's the truth. Now, I don't also blame the men who are not able to handle these sort of challenges with their wives, because they don't have the capacity to. They've not been taught. They've not been given the tools that they require to be able to be understanding enough with their wives and, talk to her. This trauma is terrible, oh, I'm telling you. But you see, conversations, being able to disclose this thing up front is very key. So for me, I feel like that was one thing that I got right. Being able to share with my husband, and he did not judge me. When I shared it with him the first time when we were dating, he didn't judge me. As a matter of fact, he gave me a mighty big hug, and we stayed there for a couple of minutes, and he said, what happened to you was not your fault. You were a child. The person who did it to you should have been arrested. So for me, that's the edge that I have over some women. And when I talk to people who are in this space, I also try to teach the men as to what to say and how to say it, when their wives are having maybe trigger moments and stuff like that. So yeah.
Mute your mic so that they can hear me. Have you muted? All right. I've been in a relationship with someone who had that problem. It was horrible. The person had daddy issues and was looking for an older person to be in a relationship with. There was just like 2 years between us. So I was not going to be anybody's daddy. And I'm not particularly mature for even my age. Do you understand? So I wasn't going to be anybody's daddy. And it was, you see, it's like when you buy a Ferrari, you are not going to be able to drive it everywhere. You won't drive it on a narrow road or a bad road. You cannot carry more than one person. So you are dealing with Ferrari problems. Servicing is going to cost you $2,000. Insurance is going to be high. One tire is $2,000 each. Do you understand what I'm telling you? But you are getting the value of a Ferrari. When you show up in a nightclub, you know what they do in nightclubs? The best car shows up, they tell the car parked in front of the nightclub to go and repark, they will park that car in front of it. So unless somebody shows up with a Bugatti, if you go to a nightclub with a Ferrari, your Ferrari is going to park in front of the nightclub. All the chicks are going to say, "Who, wow, wow." So you are getting Ferrari benefits and Ferrari problems. The problem when you now go and buy a Kia, and this Kia, they are telling you the tire is $2,000. You drive the Kia to the nightclub, they say, no, you cannot park here. They tell you 3 streets away to go and park. But then you are paying heavy insurance. So you are getting Ferrari problems without the advantage of actually driving the Ferrari. This is the likeness I'm using to when you are with someone who is more problem than solution. You marry someone that you have to be their father. They went through issues, no be you force them, but person forced them. Then they are dealing and healing with the trauma. Listen to me, anybody that is with someone who was traumatized will suffer. It is stress. Not everyone is cut out for it. It's like raising a child with special needs. Not everyone has the patience. I was watching a man raise an autistic child. This man would do everything he can. He will do it slowly so the child can understand. Me, where I don't get patience. Wait, if I teach you Bible for life, and as I say your head, don't daughter, I would just curse your papa, curse your mama, block you. So it's not all of us, but you see, I learned this in my 40s. It's not everybody that is cut out for every situation. And when you are dealing with trauma, the person who is traumatized has to understand that the person she's married to was not the one that traumatized her. Hold on. You have to understand that. And you have to understand that sometimes marriages are ruined. Relationships are ruined because you place a burden that is too heavy on your spouse. I'm having a conversation with you. I can see that before you got into your marriage, there was a part healing. The job was easier for your husband because you yourself, you don't do small surgery. You don't collect small injection for the trauma aspect. So you have been able to fix yourself to an extent. So and then you met him, he's willing to work with you and the two of you are working together. If you overburdened him, it will strain your relationship. Now, if you now went to marry someone who has a huge intercourse appetite, there are men. The Bible doesn't understand it, but the Quran does. The Quran explains, I'm not a Muslim expert, but from my understanding, it explains that there are some men that one woman is not enough for. One woman no reach. Even in Yoruba land, there are men that are active, and if you give them one woman, like say you give them one piece of meat to chop big eba, they no good, they satisfied. So now you are married to a woman that cannot satisfy you because she's. I watched the video. The woman was saying that anytime the husband came to her, it was like punishment. It's not his fault. This happened to you. And now, guess what? To you, you are seeing it as punishment. To me, I'm seeing it as enjoyment. The more I enjoy myself, the more you get punished. How that relationship won't take last. My enjoyment is your punishment. So if I stop enjoying myself, I start to punish myself to please you. If I continue enjoying myself, I continue to punish you. That marriage can never work. Remy, what are your thoughts?
That phrase, remember, I think we've had something similar. We've had this discussion before on your life. And I think I remember saying that is why it is important for people who are intending to get married to go for therapy, or to go for counseling before they get married. Because everybody, that a Nigerian alone it comes with its own trauma. Do you get what I mean? That you were raised by Nigerian parents comes with its own trauma. Do you understand? And you said something, DF, just now, that if someone who has been traumatized then gets married, puts all that pressure on their partner and all of that. Sometimes they don't do it intentionally. Sometimes they do it intentionally. Sometimes they don't. In fact, most of the time they don't. If it is a mental, if it's an emotional problem or a mental health problem, they won't know. It's just that some people may have gone through exactly what, I'm sorry, madam, I don't know your name, but this beautiful woman went through as a kid, and nobody should go through that. And I am so sorry about the horrible experience you've had. And I know, it takes time, for such a thing to heal. And you're doing the right thing. Talking about it is good, and being open about it is good. It will help you heal even more. So it's not everybody that remembers. You remember. Some people don't. Somehow their brain has hidden it from them to, to protect them from remembering it consistently so that they don't keep hurting themselves. There are some traumas that you go through or that you've experienced. Yeah?
Okay, so first things first, my name is Cecilia.
Cecilia.
Yes, thanks. So you were just talking about the fact that I was able to remember, and yes, some people have forgotten about it, and all they have is triggers, and that also happened to me at some point where I don't. And so when I'm in a relationship as a young person, the moment maybe intercourse is involved, there's that trigger, and for me that's the end of that relationship. Yeah, and it took my husband and I talking at the time to realize that what happened to me then was he called it a defense mechanism. So the brain shuts down that trauma to protect you. So defense mechanism, and some people take it better than other people. Really, I think that if everybody was more kind to everybody, then it's easier for a lot more people. I'm built tough, like on different levels and different stuff that I've been through in life. I'm built tough, but some people don't really get over this thing. So I just wanted you to continue what you were saying, but just to buttress on the fact that some people actually forget because of their level of trauma. Just to say, yes, you're right on that. Yeah.
I mean, some people don't get over it well enough sometimes because they don't have enough support. Maybe they're surrounded by people who are difficult. Do you get what I mean? Who are judgmental, and would sometimes even blame them for what they've gone through. Do you get what I mean? That would not help them to heal. The same video that the freeze just referred to, I think I saw something like that. It was like a talk show. And the people, the host, or the people who were, the people talking to her, who were interviewing her, were laughing. How is that even funny? I was upset.
Oh, you need to also understand. Here's my take on that laughter. You need to understand that people are not going to have to deal with your trauma for you.
No, they were not sensitive. They were not sensitive.
I would have laughed too. In fact, I would have a piece of my mind, because as far as I was concerned, she punished the guy. Because you are in a relationship with someone, and each time he does it to you, you are the only place he can run to for this thing. But each time he does it to you, it's like he's punishing you. You don't realize that you are also punishing him for something he has no control over, or he had no control over. And then you're making it look like he wants it too much. I was always asking for, let me tell you something. Women have a way, sorry, you are women. Women have a way of making themselves look like victims. Oh, I sympathize with what she went through. But this guy is somebody's child too now. He didn't put you through it. My thoughts. So if you're going to a professional therapist, for instance, you would expect them not to laugh. But you're going on a live show with people who are just finding your conversation amusing.
Let me say something. Can I say something?
Like, oh, wow, really?
Can I say something, DF?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, DF. I understand how you feel. I know. I mean, when I saw the video, I felt bad for the guy as well. Do you get what I mean? But what I'm saying is, someone comes to you and tells you that, look, I went through this. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge that. No, hang on, DF. Hang on, DF.
You came to share your story with me. I'm supposed to react to it. What if I don't feel, okay, you went through this? You need to understand that, look, you can't give a doctor's job to a lawyer. The way a lawyer will react to something would be totally different from the way a doctor will react to it. In the scene of an accident, the lawyer will tell you, hey, don't say anything, don't do anything.
DF, can I just make my point?
First aid. Do you know that first aid can have evidence? Are you aware that somebody at an accident scene, first aid, tampers with evidence? So a lawyer's reaction to the situation is, don't touch the person. The doctor's situation, the reaction to the situation is, give first aid. Two conflicting views.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, dear,
listen, when you carry your story to the public, you will get exactly what you are looking for.
Right. I agree with you. DF, I totally agree with you. What I'm just saying is, we need to try. That is why we have loads of people in Nigeria going through depression, and people would rather not come out and share their pains. You don't have to immediately embrace that and say, oh dear, sorry, you've been through that. But acknowledge that, okay, oh, you went through pain. It's just like when a child falls.
I might not have laughed, but I'm also standing in defense for people who are not trained psychologists and don't have to be trained psychologists or psychiatrists.
God is praised, but we don't have to be trained anything to have human feeling. To not laugh at people's pain. That's the first thing. And I think that's what she's trying to say.
That's what I'm trying to say.
To not laugh at people's pain. It's called empathy for a reason.
The woman talking was insensitive to her husband's pain. The way she talked about her husband, I found it offensive. You are in a relationship with a man. You bring your trauma burden to this man, and then you are blaming him for wanting to do it with you all the time, because when he wants to do it with you all the time, what it does is it punishes you. Can we be balanced in our use of the word insensitive? That is somebody's son. How do you expect him to feel?
And we agree with you. We agree with you on that. We are just saying that, first of all, we should say, oh, okay, well, sorry that you went through that, but you should have addressed that issue, that trauma of yours before getting married, and then depriving your husband of what is rightfully his. It was wrong for her to get married without taking care of herself first and making him go through that. Do you get what I mean? So what I'm saying is, first of all, we should learn not to laugh at other people's pain. It might not be painful to you, it might not be anything to you, but it was to them. Do you get what I mean? So if it was painful for them, acknowledge it and say, oh, well, I'm sorry you went through that. So sad that you had to go through that. But you shouldn't have. You had no business getting married. Because number one, intercourse is massive in marriage. And you would have known that. You would do that.
There's something else I want to add.
Yeah.
This let's be sensitive. I have a problem with it. Empathy and sensitivity. I have a big problem with it. Because we don't know where to draw the line, especially abroad. You can offend someone by as much as paying for their meal. Can we have that conversation? Because the problem with empathy is there is no measurement to empathy. It's like faith or love. I can't give you a bucket of faith. I can't give you a cup of love. I can't give you 3 inches of empathy. I have a problem with empathy. What you see as empathy, I might not see it as empathy. Try this abroad. Just there's some words you will use, you offend people. They can even sue you. So at what stage do we draw the line and say, okay, this conversation has offended this person? Don't you watch all those skits where a guy will say, look, so as not to offend you, you open you don't open the door for a woman, she'll be offended. You open the door, she'll still be offended. So when we're talking about sympathy, okay, somebody laughed. What if that's their natural reaction to what was presented to them? How do we say that they are not empathic? How do we say that they are not, they don't have empathy?